Friday, December 29th, 2023. Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time and the Morning Show. On this show, this will be the third part in a series of playing multiple tracks at the same time. And today I'll be discussing choosing your spots when playing multiple tracks, because that can be a daunting endeavor. So, especially for the newer players, I'm experienced at it. When I got started playing multiple tracks, I had been handicapping for about just under 4 years. And I only started taking that endeavor on around that point because it is challenging. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts, and you want to make sure you cover the races correctly. So today I'm going to talk about choosing your spots. I did my first two episodes of All Horse Racing All the Time, making picks and plays, covering multiple tracks. I did a couple of shows like that because I wanted to show some players. A lot of players do this. They play multiple tracks. I wanted to show them out there how I do it, because all of my shows up until that point have been covering a single track and really covering that track thoroughly. I've been a winning player since 2011, but when I really started taking off was around that time when I did spread out to cover multiple tracks in the same day. Now, when I do the shows up until this point covering one track, I wanted to be thorough and really focus on a single track, which is good. And see this cup? Let's make it happen. Just perfect. Today's coffee, Kahlua coffee, French vanilla. I'm not a Kahlua drinker. I can't remember ever ordering a Kahlua before. But this coffee is pretty good. Maybe it's the vanilla. It's lasted a long time. I got it as a gift, so I have it now and then. Today's pretty good. It has good strength to it. Okay, right back to the horse racing. So on this show, I cover various topics. I have a topic like today, choosing your spots. I'll talk about that at the top of the show. And I'll let you know right now, this is pre-recorded. Sometimes the first two episodes of the morning show were live with an audience. So you will have it now for the premiere of this video. The chat will be open, but if I'm not answering questions or you think I'm ignoring you, I'm not, because this is pre-recorded. So today, why did I pre-record the show, choosing your spots? Because I did my first two shows the last couple of days covering multiple tracks live on this show, All Horse Racing All the Time. We've been out here for a year and a half now, and I decided to do it this way because it can be a very profitable way to play the races, as long as you choose your spots and you do it the right way. Why? Because there are more opportunities. You have more tracks. And if you're just playing one track, which is great when you're getting started, one track usually, how many great opportunities are on a card? Some cards only have 2, 1, maybe 3 really outstanding races. And there are other races where you want to pass. And if you have multiple tracks, you have the good opportunities at the other tracks as well. And I covered, I think it was yesterday, 4 tracks, and the day before, the first time I did it live, I covered 3. And I set the bankroll for the wagering session, and I knew it was going to be a little different covering multiple tracks at the same time and doing a live show at the same time, and addressing the audience in the chat and answering questions. And also at the same time, it's challenging for me to cover multiple tracks if I'm not doing a show, because you really got to be on top of your game. So you want to make sure you choose your spots. And that's key. That's key, because what happens is with multiple tracks, the more you add, as some tracks get delayed, between posts, maybe there's an inquiry, maybe some tracks just run slower. What I encountered in not just yesterday while doing the show live, playing by myself, some of the tracks get closer and closer together, and this happened the last couple of days, that some tracks were going off at the same exact time. So what do you do in a case like that? Uh, if you're playing multiple tracks, my suggestion at first is, compare the two races that are going to be going off at the same time, and you put your focus on the track that offers a better opportunity. Look at the scratches and get an idea which track of the two offers a better opportunity. You don't want to take on too much, because it's hard enough sometimes just to cover one track, let alone multiple tracks. So if you spread yourself too thin, and you're not, even if you're a great player, you can get into trouble by just trying to wing it somewhat on one race and then get another race, the other race in that's going off within a minute of that one, or maybe right at the same time. So you want to see in advance as the cards are unfolding, when the races are coming up, put more emphasis on the track that offers a bang for the buck and it's playable. So keep that in mind. Now, my results playing for the last couple of days, first couple of days doing a show and covering multiple tracks at the same time. Did 3 tracks on Wednesday, and 4 tracks yesterday. Now, the first session, I set a bankroll, a very limited bankroll of allotted $30 towards the first show. So I just wanted to be careful and see how it went, doing a show and covering multiple tracks at the same time, giving out picks and making plays. And I yielded like an $11 profit, right, for the first show, covering 3 tracks. And then yesterday, I made a profit of, with the 4 tracks of 24. So, and I allotted $50 for yesterday of the bankroll. And at one point yesterday, actually yesterday was split into 2 sessions. In the first session, I set a $30 bankroll, right? The first day yielded $11 profit. And in that first day, there were 27 races. And I played 27 races. I played 18 of them. And I hit 9. And that yielded $11 profit. So that means I passed on 9 races. I passed on 9 races. There's no crime in passing on a race. I gave out who I kind of liked in that race, but I let everybody know up front, I'm not playing this race. So you don't have to play every race. Some races are just unplayable. And when you're playing multiple tracks, you got to know where to pass and where not to. And yesterday's results, I upped the bankroll allowed to $50, and that show yielded a $23 and change profit. I have it over there. I keep track of it, and I let the audience know how I'm doing throughout the session. But yeah, you want to pick your spots. And what about, you say, well, I really like 5 races today. I like 5. They have 5 great cards today. What are you going to do? And that brings me to this show, because today, this show is pre-recorded because I saw the cards that are going on at 5 different tracks today. And they were outstanding cards. And I had business to take care of today, which I was going to do in the afternoon. And I was just overjoyed by looking at the cards that are out there. And they are just so strong that I'm taking care of business this morning, and I'm pre-recording the morning show. And today I'm going to be doing a show covering 5 different cards. So the first couple of days, one was 3 cards at the same time. One was 4. And today it's going to be 5. And I want people I figured it's the holiday weekend. This is not going to be a regular occurrence, covering all these tracks in a single day. Because let's face it, who's going to have the time to sit down and handicap 5 cards completely? So some of these races, I'm going to be doing on the fly. And that's how I got started with the multiple tracks at the same time after about 4 years of playing. And I'm going to show you how I do it. And I figure this is a perfect opportunity, not only for the beginning players who are looking to learn the game and win money at it, but even for some of the experienced players that might pick up a few of my angles at work when addressing all these cards at once as they unfold. Thankfully, they're staggered, and we'll kick it off. These are the tracks I'll be covering today live. Yeah, I didn't expect to go live until tonight at Turfway Park, but instead, I'm going to be going live just before noon. Gulfstream kicks off. So we're going to be covering Gulfstream. We're going to be covering Aqueduct. We're going to be covering Oaklawn, who has some fantastic races today. We're going to be covering Santa Anita. And we're going to be covering Turfway Park. So that's 5 tracks. They're not all going to be going at the same time because Gulfstream starts at 12:10. Aqueduct starts at like 12:50. Oaklawn begins 1:30. Santa Anita starts a little after that. And then first race begins at Turfway Park, which should be a lot of fun. They have the gigantic payouts over there. I gave out some big hits, including yesterday. And at one point, I was down $34 after 5 races and turned it into coming out on top. Finishing the day just 23 or so bucks ahead, thanks to a nice exacta hit that was over $100, a little over $100 for $2. I played it for $1 and nailed it and nailed that. And I gave out a flat out winner. I just played a straight win bet for $4 in the last race on a horse that went off at 12-1, and I raved about the horse, and this horse wired the field and paid $26. So it turned it into a winning day, and I really capped it in the last race. So in horse racing, all it takes is one and picking your spots. So and how do we do that? Make sure you pass on some races. If the races are getting close together, choose the better race. Because you don't want choose the better race. That's the best way I can put it. I without candy coating or going further than there. Choose the best race. And one thing I find that works out well when you're playing multiple tracks at the same time, and you do it the right way, you don't get overwhelmed. Even I found myself getting a bit overwhelmed trying to keep up with the audience, the viewers out here. And I want to thank all of you who participate on the show. You helped make this a wonderful experience for everybody. Don't get overwhelmed. Slow it down. There's no, maybe you want to look ahead to what's going on in the next race and take a breather for a few seconds. And you want to, you want to keep your emotions in check. You don't want to rush things, lose a couple, and all of a sudden start shooting around and throwing money all over the place without really, while being emotionally in the wrong place, and feeling pressure and agonizing over the race, going places that you didn't plan on playing. Maybe you say, "Oh my God, there's no horse. I just lost $40 on this last race. I want to get it back now. And oh God, I'm playing four tracks that are going now. And the next one's going to be in 10 minutes. Hey, there's a harness track running in 2 minutes. Maybe I can get it back there." And you don't even play harness racing, and you go over there and you make a bet, and boom, you lose more money. And then the day's shot, you go into the death spiral. That's like chasing money. It's like an airplane, like when they have these airplane crashes, like JFK Jr., they say he thought he was flying up, and then he was, lost his bearings. And meanwhile, he was flying down and did a nosedive into the ocean. So that happens in horse racing too. And that can be disastrous. That could ruin your whole day and maybe even ruin more than a day. Maybe you're a guy that, maybe you lose your paycheck that way. And you're a guy that one of those guys gets paid every 2 weeks, right? You don't want to go there. And another tip I have, again, this is something I did. I set an allotment of what I'm allowed for that session. So that forces me into a situation where I know I got to be careful with my picks. I don't want to make another deposit. Okay. In one session, I did this. Actually, yesterday was broken up into 2 sessions, and I set the early session at a $30 limit. And I found myself down 29.60, and there was still a few races to go. And remember, I set the limit at $30 for that session. So yesterday was actually broken up into a couple of sessions. So I found myself down 29.60. So I was like, what do I want to do? There's still a few races left. I think there was, where were they? One was at Mahoning, and one was at Gulfstream. I think it was Gulfstream or Aqueduct, one of the others. There were 3 races left. So I was like, what do I do? So I said before the show that I'm allowing $30 to play with here, and I'm down 29.60. I got hosted at race at Mahoning. Oh, geez. And there were 3 horses. I did a 3/5 exacta, and I had a couple of the big early speeds with the best numbers, and there was another horse that looked live. The 2 horses 3/5, so it was like $12, right? And the 2 horses with big early speed were running all the way in the back of the track, showed no early speed at all. The other horse was nowhere to be found. And some bombs came in on top and underneath. I think out of those horses, only one, maybe the one I liked least, one of the underneath horses finished 4th. I was like, what the hell is this? But still, I came to me, that's 29.60 down. So I'm like, I have 40 cents left. Do I throw a couple bucks in? I said, no. I said I'm going to keep it to 30. Is there a superfecta I can play for, 10 cents or whatever? And it was Mahoning and Gulfstream. And there were only races with giant fields. So no, I didn't play any. I finished that session down 29.60, and then 29.60. And I said, is there a superfecta? No, I'll keep the change in there. I'm just throwing away the 40 cents. Maybe with that 40 cents, if I hit something tomorrow or later on in the day, that 40 cents is usually change on the side, like something pays 24.80. It rounds that 40 cents up into like a dollar figure. So I left it alone. I accepted that I lost 29.60, and I still hung on for the show during the show, and called the show and left it at that. And then went on to the night session and played Tampa Bay Downs and finished up, not Tampa Bay Downs, and played Turfway Park and finished up for the day, coming out on top with like a 50-something profit for that track. So for the day, finished up $23, $24. So that's it. Yeah, you got to have discipline in this game. You don't chase. If you set in mind, when you go into it a day playing the races, you don't want to say, I have $470 in my account, so that's my bankroll. That's what I have to play with today. No. You say, well, I have $470 in my account, and let's see, I'll play with, I'll allow for playing $100 to work with today, or I'll allow $50 to work with, $20, whatever you think is comfortable. And this forces you to play the races smarter because you only have a certain amount to work with. You're not playing with your $450 in the account and say, well, I have $450 in the account and I have $300 in my checking account. So really I have $600, $700 to play with today. That's not how you play the race. Then you get sloppy, especially since when you're playing the races, the money takes on like Monopoly money, or if you're playing poker, the chips are chips. It's not real money. It is real money. Try cashing it out. It works. Whoa! You go up to the window. There's no better feeling sometimes when I go to the track. Back before I had the when I had the ADW or whatever, when I first started using ADWs, the wagering platforms, and I would go and go to the track like Aqueduct or whatever, and go withdraw, with $600 winnings from the previous day, and they give you those crisp bills, and it's like, yeah, it's not Monopoly money, it's not chips on a poker table, it's real money. And I remember one of the first times I did that, I started playing in 2007 and cashed out after a big day. And, I had the cell phone with me and I was just so, overjoyed. And that's kind of tacky. I wouldn't do this today, but it was new to me. And, I took a picture of my hand with all the hundreds like fanned out. And, and I talked about it, in a post on Facebook or something. But you get the idea. It's real money. So keep that in mind when you're setting the bankroll, your allotment for the day, when you go into the day. Now, today I'm going to be covering 5 tracks. So, but even with the 5 tracks, as I figure I'm up 35 doing these live shows, I play small. I invest small for high investments. I'm not one of these guys saying $20, $50 to win, or $40 across the board. If I spend $20 on a race, it's a lot. And like the Exacta yesterday that I got back 60 something bucks. I did a 4-horse box and for $12 and got back like 60, right? And it was, I think the Exacta was 120. I think it was the sixth race at Turfway Park where I had the hit that turned things around, because I was down $34 in that card at that point. Now I set a $50 bankroll for that, right? Now 4 races left and I'm down 34. And I thought, now this is something else when you work off of a set amount that you're working with for the day. I'm like, this sucks. I lost $29.60 in the 3 race where I was covering 3 tracks. I'm like, now what am I going to do here? There's 4 races left, so technically I'm down $63, and I'm allowed like another $16 to work with here. How do I do this? Do I play a series of exactas, 2 horses over 4 horses, 2 horses over 3 horses, or a key single 1 horse, 1 over 2, 3, and 2, 3 over 4 to, make the most out of that $16? And so I can hang in there and maybe hit something. I thought, oh God, this track is big, and it's big fields. I mean, I say, how can I best use this $16 over the last 4 races? So I looked at the 6, 7, 8, 9. I looked at the 6th race, and I saw 3 live long ones, right? 3 live long ones, and they looked really good. And I'm like, what do I do with this? But they had a horse with Joe Talamo, was number 8, right? It was at 2-1. And by the PPs, this looked like the fastest horse in the race. It was running very fast races, albeit they were on turf. And this Turfway Park's an old Tapeta track. So in turf and Tapeta, they're kind of similar. That's why you see turf horses running in these Tapeta races, and Tapeta horses running in turf races, vice versa. So I'm like, how do I do this? There's 4 of them. I only have $16 left. I said I could milk it out, go 2 by, these small exactas. And but what are the chances of hitting that when there's like 12, 14 horse fields? So I said, all right, I see these 3 long shots, and I feel comfortable with Joe Talamo on this 8 horse, who's now bet down at 2-1. And I said, well, my best way that I can use what I have left is to go for the kill shot now while I still have $16 to play with. What do I do? Do I go for a big show bet on one of the longer ones, and make a few, maybe double my money? I'm thinking. So I said, no, I'm going to go for the kill shot here while I still have a chance. So I boxed 4 horses, my 3 long ones, and the Joe Talamo 2-1 shot. And Joe Talamo misses the board. And 2 of my long shots, they got bet down, but they still came in. I think it was a 5-1. It was one was a 12 horse out of Curlin. I think the Exacta was 12-5 or something, and the 5 horse was around 8-1, and that hit connected for $120 Exacta. So the kill shot worked. All of a sudden, I found myself up $16 going into the 7th race from being down 34. And lost the next couple of races, and then went with a $4 Exacta on a horse that was opened at 10-1, and or 8-1, something like that. I talked about this horse, raved about it, put a $4 win bet on it, and it did win. And it paid $26, and then I finished the session up $52 after $52 after the Turfway Park was done. That's the beauty of horse racing. You could do serious damage in one race, unlike other sports, spread betting. Maybe you're betting on DraftKings and you're betting on one of the teams, the Knicks tonight, and you're getting, the odds are plus 120 or whatever. You're getting almost a 1-to-1 payout plus a few bucks. In horse racing, you get these payouts, like in that Exacta, for example, was a 61 to 1 odds in the in the sixth race. So that offers that. But the gist of that story is not about just making the hits. Well, how quickly things can turn around, but also the importance of paying attention to how much you're willing to invest in a session, wagering session for a day, and sticking to it, which is what I did. And when you get low, you don't think, well, I can always dig deep into some of the other stuff, take a few more bucks out or use some of my other money that's in the account. You want to stick to it. It gives you discipline. And horse racing requires discipline. So today, I'm going to be doing 5 cards, and they're not all going to be going off at the same time, but at one point, I think 4 of them will be running at the same time. And then it'll be capped off with the night session at Turfway Park tonight. In the 5th race, a social media friend from the owner of Rockstar Racing Stables has a first-time starter going today. In the 5th race, the name of the horse it's a maiden special weight. The name of the horse is Winter is Coming, and it opens at 30 to 1. Winter is Coming, trained by Karen Whittick, ridden by Jane Elliott. This one has been shipped in from California for its maiden race, and it's out of Dancing Candy, who was a stakes-winning horse. For multi-graded stakes winning horse with tremendous early speed, trained by Bob Baffert, Dancing Candy, over a 700K earner. And the Dam is a cat horse. And for you cat horse players out there, I know some people always play the great horse or the cat horse or the kitten horse. Anyway, the breeding is tremendous, and it is going off at 31. Getting thrown into the deep end of the pool. You got Brad Cox has entries in that race. So the other big trainers, Steve Asmussen is in there. Goes off at 30 to 1. Has a couple of brilliant early workouts, like a 35 and 3 furlongs. Some really fast early workouts. It's been working. Comes off a 6 furlong workout before this. Now I'm wondering why they chose Turfway Park for this first-time starter. Shipping from California to Turfway to break the maiden, and the owners there from Rockstar Racing Stables flew in too, and it's going to be a big night for her. And then afterwards, Winter is Coming is going to ship back to California and do some racing out there. And this owner is going, believes this one can actually make it to the Kentucky Derby. So it's a fascinating story, and this whole little Winter is Coming has grown into a strapping colt with a huge stride, has the sire and Dam with big early speed. And but when it was born small, a small horse, and some of its legs were slightly crooked. And you should see what this horse looks like now. The before and after pictures, a big strapping looks like a champion. So that is going to be race 5 tonight. It's a maiden special weight, post position 10, opening odds 30 to 1. So that's the morning show for today. And I hope this helps. And another thing, I'm trying to help play. It took me a while to get used to playing multiple tracks at the same time. I only jumped into that after 4 years, but I took to it quickly. I seemed to have the good discipline, and it really improved my game. It opened up options instead of just focusing on one track. And I figured this show I try and help the players improve their game, share my knowledge, and we have a tremendous audience, a tremendous crowd, participants, a great group here that's growing strong. The channel's been out there for a year and a half. Knowledgeable players, winning players. You'll see they share their picks during the course of the show. They ask questions. They share their picks and why. And of course, I do that as well. So it's win-win across the board. You'll see it. You watch the show for a while, you'll see the payouts, the people giving out their picks and hitting. And they give the picks out in advance. None of this giving out their winners after the race. No, it's so I try and help people, in this session now, today, for example, doing multiple tracks at the same time. What took me 4 years to, grow into and learn with, maybe by watching some of these shows, I figured, let's do it. Let's do these multiple track shows during the holiday weekend here. And I'll share my wisdom, and people see how I do it and how I've been successful. Maybe they get an idea, instead of them taking 4 years to learn how to do this and become profitable at it and do it in a timely manner. What's the word I'm reaching? In a manner, learn, see how I do it, okay? And I'll demonstrate live that it can be done. And I think I've already done that in the first couple of days. I've already showed the discipline, passing on the races, addressing the bankroll, my bankroll for the day, and sticking to that. Get in good habits. Instead of taking 4 years to become, start cashing those multiple track sessions, it takes you a matter of months. You'll, no sense reinventing the wheel. I'll help people get it up to speed quickly, from my own experience. So today, 5 tracks, Aqueduct, Gulfstream, Oak Lawn, Santa Anita, and Turfway Park. This goes live shortly before noon. And so have a great Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's make some money. Join us for the live show, and let's have a great time and make some money and learn things at the same time. And share this channel with your horse racing friends or family. Anyone who enjoys horse racing, I think they will enjoy it and find it a very positive experience. If your friends don't like horse racing, or they don't like horse racing, or they're not into horse racing, no sense telling them to, join the show. Maybe unless they want the entertainment, because there's a lot of banter. It's a fun atmosphere, but it's serious at the same time. We go dead red, and we pick the horses, at least a lot of us do, carefully, and it's a good demonstration of how to win at horse racing and have a good time at the same time. So if they're not into horse racing, don't tell them to watch the show or join the channel, subscribe, because that's pointless. If you're into horse racing, though, by all means, share it with your friends. Okay, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. All the best, and win big.